A very good evening. From stories around the world to stories here at home, this is the National News broadcast. I'm Vidushni Sadish Kumar.
Good evening, I'm Stefan Dialwis. Let's take a look at the top stories for tonight. Secretary-General of Parliament informs the Election Committee that a vacancy has been created in the parliamentary post of Ranjan Ramanayaka. The Attorney-General approves to ban 11 organisations connected to extremist activities. The COPE Committee instructs to implement the law immediately against former Executive Committee members of the Sri Lankan cricket if any shortcomings were found. Airavur is to receive a 5 billion rupee investment zone. There is a threat of some corona-infected patients being subjected to mental disorders.
Well, in your local stories this evening, Secretary-General of Parliament has informed the Election Commission on the vacancy created in the Parliament position of Ranjan Ramanayaka. Speaker Mahindayappa Abeyewardena has made a statement in this regard in Parliament today. Speaker Mahindayappa Abeyewardena said that the Secretary-General of Parliament has informed the Chairman of the Election Commission on the vacancy of the parliamentary seat of Ranjan Ramanayaka under the Clause 64/1 of the Act Number 1 of 1981.
Parliament due to the fact that Honorable A.A. Ranjan Leo Sylvester Ramanayaka, Member of Parliament for the electoral district of Gampaha, ceased to be a Member of Parliament in terms of Article 66D of the Constitution.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that he wishes to request the Speaker to grant that opportunity until the Supreme Court fully examine the challenge. Speaker Mahindayappa Abeyewardena said that a verdict has been delivered in this regard. He added that he has declared that verdict and not about the absence from Parliament. Minister Nama Rajapaksa said that the Speaker's statement is based on a court verdict. He has requested, therefore, to carry forward with parliamentary activities as Ranjan Ramanayaka's parliamentary position was abolished constitutionally. Those who challenge the court verdict only challenge the judiciary system and the Speaker.
Former parliamentarian Ajit Mana Peruma is scheduled to be appointed to the parliamentary post that would become vacant due to the exit of Ranjan Ramanayaka. Mana Peruma has clinched the 5th position in the preferential list in the Gampaha district of the Samagi Janabalawegya at the previous general election. Ranjan Ramanayaka has lost his parliamentary post as a result of being sentenced to a 4-year prison term. 4 contestants of the Samagi Janabalawegya were elected to parliament from the Gampaha district at the recent general election. Ajit Mana Peruma was next in line preferential list and will be appointed to the post that would become vacant. Mana Peruma has received 47,212 preferential votes to reach the 5th position in the list. He was elected to parliament previously on 2 occasions. In July of 2013, Mana Peruma was first elected to parliament due to the death of parliamentarian Dr. Jayalat Jayawardena. In the general election of 2015, he was also elected as an MP. Ajit Mana Peruma was also the first mayor of the Gampaha Municipal Council. The Attorney General has given approval to ban 11 organisations connected to extremist activities. United Tawhid Jamath, Ceylon Tawhid Jamath, Sri Lanka Tawhid Jamath, All Ceylon Tawhid Jamath, Jamiatul Ansari Sunatul Muhammadiyah, Darul Adhar at Jamiul Adhar, Sri Lanka Islamic Student Movement, Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, Al-Qaeda, Save the Pearls and Super Muslim Organization. The COPE Committee has informed the Secretary to the Ministry of Sports to take legal measures against former members of the Sri Lanka Cricket Executive Committee if any shortcomings were found. The COPE, or the Committee on Public Enterprises, has met in Parliament yesterday under the leadership of the Chairman of the Committee, Parliamentarian Professor Charitha Herat, yesterday. Chairman of the COPE Committee has informed the Secretary to the Ministry of Sports, Anuradha Vijay Kohan, that the assistance of the AG could be obtained for taking legal measures The committee meeting has been convened to investigate on the Auditor General's report on the Sri Lankan Cricket Institution's activities in the financial years of 2017 and 2018, and also to investigate on the present state of affairs of the Institute. The committee has pointed out that the approved staff of the Institute of 162 officers, but 123 of them were on contract basis. The committee has stressed that there should be permanent officials for financial, legal and information technology, as well as internal audit positions. The committee has also recommended on the preparation of a proper methodology on procurement. The committee has also questioned regarding not recovering a sum of 22 million rupees as income owed by the Sri Lankan cricket for holding sponsorship rights in the South African Cricket Tour in 2018. Chief Executive Officer of the Sri Lankan Cricket, Ashley De Silva, has informed the committee that an investigation is being conducted in this regard and its report will be delivered to the committee within 3 months. It has also revealed at the committee meeting that the amount was credited into an account of a US national named Diamond Channel, and a probe was conducted as to how the money was deposited in his account. The COPE committee has also expressed its displeasure to the Sri Lankan cricket over the problematic issues in the financial statements of 2019 as well. Ministers, state ministers and parliamentarians representing the COPE committee, as well as the officials of the Ministries of Sports Ministry and the Sri Lankan cricket, were also present.
Well, now on a local update on the corona news, the epidemiology unit says that a stock of Russian Sputnik V vaccine is scheduled to be arrived in Sri Lanka this month or in May. The Russian government has informed the State Pharmaceutical Drugs Corporation that 200,000 doses of Sputnik V vaccine could be reserved for the Sri Lankan population by the 12th of this month. Under the COVID-19 immunization program, the Covishield vaccine has been provided to 924,687 persons. The epidemiology unit further said that Sinopharm vaccine donated by China has been inoculated on 2,469 Chinese nationals residing in Sri Lanka. The number of recoveries from COVID-19 has reached 90,917. It is a percentage of 96.82. Another 2,405 patients are undergoing treatment. Another 138 COVID-19 patients were detected in the island today. 209 recovered patients left the hospitals today. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health has issued a media release stating new quarantine methodologies for persons arriving in Sri Lanka from the overseas. Accordingly, if a Sri Lankan citizen or a dual citizen with Sri Lankan passport is planning to quarantine in a hotel certified by the government, they are not required to obtain the approval of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or the Aviation Services Authority. If such persons are planning to quarantine in a quarantine center maintained by the government, they should seek approval from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs prior to arrival in Sri Lanka. The communique adds that tourists who arrive in the country through the Ministry of Tourism are also not required to seek the approval of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. However, it is compulsory for all tourists to follow the health guidelines provided by the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Tourism. According to the release, a dual citizen with a foreign passport should apply for approval from the Foreign Ministry. Further details could be obtained from the Rupavahini www.runews.lk website.
India's second wave of coronavirus infections continue to swell as country reports a 13-fold increase in just 2 months, raising pressure on the government to expand its vaccination campaign. COVID-19 pandemic has killed over 2.87 million people and infected more than 132.5 million globally. The latest single-day spike, with over 115,000 new cases in the last 24 hours, has increased the total tally to 12.8 million, making it the third worst hit country after the United States and Brazil. Ominously, the daily increase has topped 100,000 twice this week. As many as 630 deaths has occurred due to the pandemic since yesterday, taking the total death toll to 166,000. Reports have indicated that state authorities have taken steps to impose curfew restrictions in an attempt to curb the spread of the disease across the country yet again. Meanwhile, a study published in the Lancet Psychiatry journal today has reported that 1 in 3 COVID-19 patients who have recovered have neurological mental health disorders within 6 months of infection. The study, which was conducted with more than 230,000 patients, has further stated that 13% of the patients had never received a neurological or psychiatric diagnosis before. The study, which was led by Oxford University, researchers has claimed that the COVID-19 virus causes serious disorders that affect the nervous system, which leaves patients in poor health months after they have recovered from COVID-19. Researchers have also reported that COVID-19 patients are likely to develop mood and anxiety disorders in the first 3 months after infection.
Meanwhile, the World Health Organization urges equitable distribution of COVID-19 vaccines with more investment in vaccine production, rapid testing tools and therapeutics. At a regular press briefing in Geneva, Director General of the WHO, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus said that 190 countries and economies have started vaccination programs within the first 100 days of 2021.
We need to invest in equitable production and access to COVID-19 rapid tests, oxygen treatments, and vaccines between and within countries. At the start of the year, I made a call for every country to start vaccinating health workers and older people in the first 100 days of 2021. This week will mark the 100th day, and 190 countries and economies have now started vaccination. COVAX itself has already delivered 36 million doses to 86 countries and economies. Supply chains are up and running and health systems primed. Scaling up production and equitable distribution remains the major barrier to ending the acute stage of this pandemic. It is a travesty that in some countries, health workers and those at-risk groups remain completely unvaccinated. The effort to achieve vaccine equity will not stop this week. WHO will continue to call on governments to share vaccine doses and fill the $22.1 billion gap in the ACT Accelerator for the equitable distribution of vaccines, rapid tests, and therapeutics.
Brazil's brutal surge in COVID-19 deaths expected to surpass the worst of a record January wave in the United States. Scientists forecast with fatalities climbing for the first time above 4,000 a day yesterday as the outbreak overwhelms hospitals.
A dangerous surge of COVID-19 deaths in Brazil means it could outpace the United States. With nearly 337,000 lives lost to the pandemic, Brazil's COVID-19 death toll only trails the U.S. But while vaccinations may help curb the U.S. outbreak, Brazil's healthcare system is overwhelmed. The country has seen record new deaths from COVID-19 every week for the past 2 months. A more contagious local variant and minimal social distancing efforts have fueled an uncontrolled outbreak. And in the last year, by one recent tally, poverty has nearly tripled as the pandemic grinds the economy down to a crawl. Marcelo Neri, director of a think tank on Brazilian development, says there needs to be more focus on vaccines.
Financial assistance is not a solution to the problem. The solution can be vaccination. As long as the vaccine does not arrive, we need solutions that allow people to comply with social distancing and stay at home.
President Jair Bolsonaro has begun embracing vaccines he once scorned, though the far-right politician continues to fight in the courts against social distancing restrictions. He's also come under rising political pressure to act. Bolsonaro responded with a dramatic shakeup of a half-dozen ministries earlier this week, putting loyalists in key roles ahead of a potentially tough re-election campaign next year against his political nemesis.
A new investment zone is to be launched in Eravur with an investment of 5 billion rupees. The Sri Lanka Board of Investments will be in charge of the implementation of the project. The objective is to subject the local garment manufacturing process to a structural transformation through the study of the global garment manufacturing economy. The BOI, in collaboration with the Ministry of Industries, will engage in the development of infrastructure facilities with the objective of turning Eravu in the eastern province into a new garment manufacturing park. 10 large-scale factories will be established, creating more than 3,000 direct job opportunities. A group of prospective investors were engaged in an inspection tour at the proposed in the Eravu garment manufacturing zone recently.
Parliamentarian S.B. Dissanayake said at a media briefing in Colombo today that the group, including the opposition leader, are behaving without clearly understanding the punishment given on Ranjan Ramanayake by the judiciary. Parliamentarian S.B. Dissanayake said that it has been mentioned clearly in the constitution that an MP subjected to as guilty to an offence to be removed from Parliament. He further said that the MP had the opportunity to seek a pardon from the Supreme Court, but he did not do so. He also said that Ranjan Ramanayake does not have the ability to go before an international court and appeal to safeguard his fundamental rights. He has thoroughly criticized the judiciary. Minister of Trade Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says that legal action will be taken against an organization which has launched false accusations and insults on the relief package. The minister was responding to a baseless and false criticism raised by the opposition and numerous individuals in the recent past regarding the Satose relief commodity item sack at a media briefing at the ministry today. Minister of Trade Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that SLS certified logo is being given for locally made face masks. The SLS certification is also available for Sri Lankan tea and salt manufactured by the State Salt Corporation. The minister further said that false propaganda is being carried out regarding cancer-causing food items in order to create fear among the general public. The minister has called on to conduct a full-scale investigation on such fabricated stories and to grant maximum punishment to those who were responsible.
The government has commenced a program to purchase a kilo of pepper for 800 rupees. The project is being carried out under the direction of the State Ministry of Minor Plantation Crops, including cane, maize, cashew and pepper. Prior to the government intervention, intermediate traders have purchased a kilo of pepper for a price of between 300 and 400 rupees. The government, after focusing attention on the plight of pepper cultivators in many parts of the island, has decided to purchase a kilo of pepper for 800 rupees. Under the program, more than 5,000 kilos of pepper have been purchased in Emblipitia and Kolonna areas today as well. A sum of 4 million rupees has been spent in this regard. State Minister Janaka Vakkumbara was also present on this occasion.
The government of Pakistan has pledged to extend maximum cooperation for the development activities of the Sri Lankan government while preserving regional cooperation and peace. Pakistan High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, retired Major General Muhammad Saad Khatak, has given the assurance at a discussion in Colombo yesterday. Here are some local news items in brief, including this news item. A discussion between Pakistani and Sri Lankan representatives regarding future development in the construction sector was held yesterday. State Ministers Dr. Nalaka Godaheva and Ajit Niwad Cabral, Secretary to the Ministry of Urban Development and Housing Sirinimal Pereira, Chairman of the Urban Development Authority Hashan De Silva have represented Sri Lanka at the talks. President and the Prime Minister have instructed the relevant sections to take necessary measures to complete the stalled development projects in the Colombo city. Accordingly, steps have been taken to recommence work at the Destiny multi-storied housing unit near the Slave Island railway station.
The government also is keen to help you to make your work easier and to deliver on what was promised to you. So you can be sure that we are an investor-friendly country. We are also very keen to ensure that you are able to do your business and not worry about other problems that should actually be the problem of the government. But now the fact that we are at the 99th position, after being in the 85th position in the world in 2014, is a bit of a calm down, but it's also a challenge now. So we have set ourselves a goal to be in the 25th rank by 2025, and that's something that we are pursuing now as a deliverable of this government of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. That the transformation from 2020 to 2030 will be no different. In fact, it will be a lot more exciting. It's going to change the way Sri Lanka does business. It's going to change the way Sri Lanka is perceived. It's going to change the way Sri Lanka would treat investors, and it will change the way, in a manner that people wouldn't have thought possible.
You came at a time when a lot of investors come to Sri Lanka. That was under Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa, then Defence Secretary and Secretary to the Minister of Urban Development. He unleashed a completely new era of development in this country. After the war, we were lucky. The man who led the war started leading the urban revolution. And he brought in a new culture of management, getting involved in every detail, supporting investors in every step, and investors started flowing in. The secret was that we were supportive of those investors. We held their hands, and we are so sad to hear what went through during the last 5 years. Many things didn't move. Many investors tell us the same story, but I try to believe you have confidence now. Things will change because we are here to do a job. All our interest is about the development of this country and how to get the maximum support from whoever we can get that support. As for the other investors who are waiting to come to Sri Lanka, our message is now we are ready again.
In support of the developer that has taken up this project from Pakistan, I can assure you that the support with which this project began, it went through a difficult time, but I think that support has again been made available to them, recommence and complete the project. I see no reason why we should not be encouraging other investors to come to this country at this point in time, because I see the environment, the leadership, and of course the subordinate departments very, very supportive and very, very friendly, very, very conducive for any business entity. And it is always my wish and my desire that the trade and the other cooperation between our two countries flourish. I would urge the developer to now please push the project as fast as possible so that the product is delivered to the people, and the leadership also has commitment fulfilled to the people of the country.
The Commission inquiring into charges on bribery or corruption says it will act with maximum transparency to eradicate frauds and corruption in the country. Opinions have been exchanged in this regard at a media briefing at the Ministry of Mass Media today. Chairman of the Commission inquiring into charges on bribery or corruption and other commissioners, retired Supreme Court Judge Eva Vanasundara, retired Senior DIG Chandra Nimal Vakishta, retired Supreme Court Judge Deepali Vijayasundara have also attended the media briefing. Retired Senior DIG Chandra Nimal Vakishta said that there is no country in the world which is completely free of bribery and corruption. The aim is to minimize these social vices. Sri Lanka is striving to reach the bottom of the indexes in bribery and corruption. He also said that they also hope to minimize bribery and corruption in every sector in the society. A clarification has also been made regarding action to be taken in future on the cases withdrew by the Commission in the judiciary and the status of such withdrawn cases. Retired Supreme Court Judge Deepali Vijayasundara said that under the 11th clause of the Supreme Court verdict of the court case, the Bribery Commission is scheduled to give order to the Director General to file a case. However, this order had been overlooked and cases had been withdrawn. The Commissioner further said that the shortcoming will be rectified and a conducive environment will be created for filing cases. We'll come back and continue with your sports stories now. Minister Nama Rajapaksa says that their activities are motivated by the objective of making Sri Lankans the most active people in South Asia. The minister has made these remarks extending a message of best wishes on the International Day on Development and Peace, which fell yesterday. The United Nations General Assembly has declared the International Sports Day on Development and Peace in the year 2013 in the interest of sustainable development and human rights advancement. The minister said he believes that the human beings today feel more intensely on the importance of sports as the entire world is being tormented by the COVID-19 pandemic. He added that he and the Sports Ministry has committed to safeguard the local sports by organizing numerous sports competitions, including the LPL tournament. Another objective is to inculcate the qualities of equality, cooperation and team spirit through physical activities. The minister further said that youth and adults eagerly participate in the voluntary day conducted in every Saturday at the end of the month. The minister has expressed hope that the number of participants would grow further. The communique issued by the Sports Minister Nama Rajapaksa further says that his wish is that development and peace will be strengthened when the country moves away from the pandemic condition with the restoration of the normal conditions.
Dates have been set for the cricket fixture between the Legends and the Sri Lanka team. President of the Sri Lanka Cricket Administration Committee, Professor Arjuna De Silva, said that the match is scheduled to be played at the Pallekele Stadium on the 4th of May. President of the Sri Lanka Cricket Administration Committee, Professor Arjuna De Silva, said that the whole country is looking forward to watch this encounter. He has also expressed hope that the 96th World Cup champion team, including Arvinda De Silva, would play in this match. Sanat Jayasuriya has already informed his intention to play in this match. The match will be played in Pallekele on the 4th of May. It would not be possible to play this match at the Premadasa Stadium as the lighting system in this playground does not function properly. Professor Arjuna De Silva further said that the forthcoming Bangladesh tour will be open only to the media. Spectators are not allowed. That's it for the news this evening. Have a good night.
Good night.